Well, it is the middle of the week, and I'm going to get busy tonight as I'm going to head over to the Meadows. We get 4 in tomorrow. Actually, tonight is when at midnight, a more stringent lockdown will be in place for Ontario. I don't really know how that affects. They're not going to race for another 2-3 weeks here. I guess I'm going to need clarification and really get a feel for what's going on in Ontario. Are these new lockdowns going to affect the start date of racing? Because it looks like they may, and if that is the case, then we are going to have to draw some blood. I mean, we have horses that are ready to race, right? They are ready to race right now, and I can make a compelling argument why we didn't send them yet, but not sending them now, that argument is getting a lot thinner and a lot harder to do. I don't want to start sending Ontario sired horses to Ohio and PA, but when you look at Frilly Fringes, she's ready to go. And there is a series for Frilly Fringes, Won My Heart Hanover, and a Glare AM in March and April. I don't want to send her in such a manner that she gets there, she's rushed, she's qualified, she races, and then we're unhappy. She's ready to start going some faster miles. Now, if you remember, I'm talking about Frilly Fringes. If you remember, when we went to really step on it long before the lockdown, she got sick, and then we had to give her a week off. Her temperature was spiking in odd ways. Her temperature was spiking in odd ways, and we really just had to let her relax. We did for a week, and she's been fine ever since. She's been training great, but it's not like you can snap her on the bike and go a mile in 2 minutes at the farm. I wouldn't recommend that. I would rather send her to Pennsylvania and get her finished off there. She's been in 2.5, 2.6 a number of times since she come back. So it's really just a matter of putting that last push into her, which really isn't that hard to do. She's a horse that is on our radar. Fox Valley Britska, again, I didn't want to, I don't want to, but I almost have to soon. We got him ready, and it's not like we got him ready to race once in a mediocre fashion and then just shut him down for another extended period of time. This is getting really painful and annoying, not to mention a horse like Can't Muscle Me was ready to go, but what the hell are we going to do with her? We can't send her to Ohio or Pennsylvania just to ship her back. How much is that going to take out of her as she heads into her stake season in April? But we do need to get work into her. So I'm in a real troubling spot right now where we could potentially send some more horses, but what's that going to take out of them? Now, a horse like Frilly Fringes, she's eventually going to go to Pennsylvania. A horse like Fox Valley Britska, he'll go to Indiana hopefully this year. So it's not the end of the world, but when you're talking Can't Muscle Me, even Girls with Swirls, horses like that, you really want us to, I don't know if we're there yet where we need to load them on a trailer to get them raced and bring them back. If we're only looking for experience and some muscle and work put into them, I don't think we're to that line yet. But it's there. It's on the horizon. So we're keeping an eye on everything going on in Ontario. It's affecting us, starting to affect us a little more now. But for the most part, everything is business as usual. The 2-year-olds continue to train back. Another horse, Broadway Roll, New York bred. And I had told one of our clients I'm not sending her across the border. She's been ready to go for a month. She trained today in 211 with the other pacing filly. Her name always escapes me. Anyway, we have horses that are going. Then, when you look across the border, we don't want horses tripping all over themselves, too. I mean, that is why Watch Avenue and Zeb Sunshine ended up in claimers. Now, Watch Avenue, I think the accelerator may have been depressed a little much yesterday, 27.56 for a horse that qualified 2-1. Maybe a little much now. Billy Rhodes had called me yesterday on a number of fronts. So I guess we'll lead into that. Billy had called me, said the Stormont Wizard made a break at the Meadows. He wasn't too concerned. He thought it was more of an equipment thing than anything else. I assume he wanted to qualify him at the Meadows just to get him on a bigger track to qualify. I mean, this is a horse that did jump on himself, was sore. We wanted to make sure that we got a good line into him. It backfired and he made a break. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, let's just get rid of him. Just relax. Okay, I know it's a rocky start. It's kind of sucks, but this is a classy old horse. He's already been there and done that. He'll be fine. Then we watched Watch Avenue, got a bit of a tough steer. He ended up 6th, and not a good 6th. Billy had messaged me after and said, hey, I think he bled a little bit. Can we put this horse? I know he bled a little bit. Can we put this horse on Lasix? Of course. You think Lasix is going to help? Put him on. Mechanically, he looked better. He looked good. But he needs to obviously finish off his miles. And I don't know that it was as much the bleeding as it was. Maybe he just wasn't ready for 56 on a half-mile track. I don't know. But then when you look at the way Off-Road Hanover won his maiden in 2-1, which I wasn't surprised. I was kind of alluding to the fact to Aaron and Billy, many of our clients, many of you, that I thought Off-Road Hanover would fit right away. That mile in 2-4, come a half in a minute on a bad track at the Meadows was good. Now, if you extrapolate that and say, well, geez, he looked pretty good in 2-1, make no mistake, I think he was beat. The horse that made a break was maybe going to beat him, but maybe not. But a mile in 2-1, last quarter 32nd, 30-1 was still a good mile and clearly the best of his life for Off-Road Hanover. So when you extrapolate that, I don't know if 56 or 57 was something that Watch Avenue couldn't handle. You know, for horse, Off-Road Hanover looked like he didn't want any more. 2-4 last half in a minute, 3/5, but 2-4 on a 5/8. And then he goes out and wins in 2-1. Whereas Watch Avenue won a mile in 2-1, come a half in 1-1. A lot going on. Let's give the horse the benefit of the doubt. Put him on Lasix. He's going to have to miss a week, and then we'll race him after that. West 52nd, we got a problem. A real problem there. I'm gonna touch on this quickly. Here's a horse that had 2 bad lines. I was a little miffed last night. You know, for the guy to drive him the exact same way he did the week before and then end up at the same result shouldn't be that shocking. I know the definition of insanity is when you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. I don't know if he's reached the level of insanity yet, but first over with a horse that's in to go on the sale in 8 days. Now, I guess you can make an argument and say, well, Anthony, the horse on the front was 30-1. It's also the horse that Tim Tetrick picked over West 52nd to drive. So, anyway, that's all hindsight. Doesn't matter. We got to deal with what's in front of us. I'm very concerned about what West 52nd now would be worth to people buying him out of the Meadowland sale. This is a horse I was certain would bring 22, 23, 24,000. I had sent out a message last night saying, geez, you know, I'm worried about him bringing 18. Keep in mind, this isn't just if he goes for 18, they cut us a check for 18. There's a lot of sale fees that go with these sales, and it's not something. I'm concerned, put it that way. And I know we had a couple of clients say, why don't we just take him out of the sale, pay the slap on the wrist for removing him from the sale, which there will be a fee due, both to the consignor and possibly the sales company. So we might look at a double kick in the butt. But put it this way, we send him to the sale and he brings 18, as I said. If he brings 18, our take on that might be 15.5, 16,000, something like that. I just don't know if it's worth our while to sell this horse for 16, even though the other side of that is, okay, Anthony's a 20 or 25 claimer. Let's say he's a 20. You keep him, turn him out for a month, bring him back. There's 17 or 18 right there. Is the exact same as paying bills on him for the time being. So I got some thinking to do. The paperwork is drawn. I just don't know if we're going to keep him in the sale or remove him. There's a very, very good argument for both. So a lot of thought. Good thing I have a 5-hour drive ahead of me tonight. A lot of thought on that particular case. I've had some people call about Rooney Blue Chip. Here's a horse, depending on how he races today, it won't play a huge role, but if he wins, it could play a massive role for us. If he doesn't race good, you can play it off and say, he's in the sale next week. That chart line won't be on his lines, and the video you'd have to go searching for. So Rooney Blue Chip, I'm not too concerned about. I think he should bring pretty good money. Then the racing gods got us again with Bottle of Red and Beach Boutique, 7 and 9 hole tomorrow. Like, come on, man. Just one time, let us draw 3 or 4. Anyway, I don't know what to tell you. I plan on racing them both very hard, but if I look left leaving the gate and everybody's leaving like they were last time I drove them, then it could be a problem. So we'll see how that works out. And then obviously the horses racing today. We have Cambridge Star making his first start. I don't know what that's going to look like. Rooney Blue Chip and Zeb Sunshine racing also today. We'll see how they do. And that is the racing. It hasn't been a great week. You know, we got White Tiger. I said I wanted to go drive White Tiger this week, but from the 8 hole, that's not fun. 7, 8, 9 hole with White Tiger, Beach Boutique, and Bottle of Red. Now, Won My Heart Hanover did draw 3. Now, somebody said, well, you know, she's worth going for. 5 hours for a maiden's a long way. So I am going to go because that's the promise I made to you guys. We'll see how this week works out in a number of different directions, both in Pennsylvania and Ontario. For now, it's been a decent week. Off-Road Hanover, if he doesn't win, it's a different story. He won. Let's try and turn some lemons into lemonade towards the end of the week. We'll start with tomorrow at the Meadows. I don't want to touch on the horses that didn't race good. A number of my partners, you saw the races the same as I did. You know, the park job on Brave World was very hard to take. You know, the drive on West 52nd, the break by White Tiger. I don't want to get into this stuff. That's racing. Let's turn the page and move forward starting tomorrow. Now, we do have sales, as I said, coming up. We have 5 horses in the Meadowlands sale. The Meadowlands sale will be potentially West 52nd. That is up in the air right now. Rooney Blue Chip is going to the sale. I'm Hill on Wheels. I've went over this with you guys. Beach Boutique, Bottle of Red. You know why they're in the sale. You know where they're going. Now, next month, there's an Ohio sale. This is the time of year when we take a serious look at what we have left and what needs to go and what can potentially leave. I forgot to put a horse in, but it closes today. I can do that. We have 4 horses, not 3, Anthony. I entered 3 last night. I have to enter another one today. And all these horses, make no mistake, these aren't horses I'm angry at or frustrated with. Nobody on this list I dislike. But there are 2 2-year-olds on this list. One of them just coming back today. And we really have to take a look at these horses that we're going to need. One, when it comes to one of them, he's on the pacing side where they're going to have to go incredibly fast. You have to have a good attitude, good conformation, and stay healthy. You know, this horse has been okay attitude-wise and has not been healthy. We turned him out for 3 weeks. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Procrastinator. It's not that I have a dislike for him. He's got a full month to prove me wrong. He comes back in this afternoon. We were going to get him yesterday. It didn't work out. We're gone. Our staff has gone to get him right now at the farm and bring him back. He's got 4 weeks. 4 weeks to prove that he is a stable.ca horse. And he may very well needed that time in the field just to get healthy. And if he did, there won't be a problem. Another horse, $1 Million Swan, the reason for $1 Million Swan. And he hasn't had a lot of chance. So we want to make sure he has this month to really show that he can do the work. But if he can't, and, you know, there's going to be people that say, well, Anthony, you know, he stands off. You know, why would you buy him? He doesn't stand off any more than a number of other horses that are doing their work very well. Until you get them going, until you get putting the miles, the speed, and the work into them, it's hard to tell sometimes. And to be quite frank, to have 2 2-year-olds that could make this list out of all the horses we have, pretty good stats. I know last year we had a number of horses in there. And just to refresh everybody's memory so you remember correctly, My Jazz was actually entered in the sale last year. She took the month from the entry date to sale date to prove me wrong that she didn't belong in the sale and that we should have kept her. We did keep her, and the rest is history. She raced very well for us all year. So this literally is a month time frame for horses to prove their worth to the stable. We only have 2. In my humble opinion, we have 2 horses that have to show me more. Procrastinator has to show me more between now and mid-February, and so does $1 Million Swan. I'm not angry at either horse, but it is time to start showing your hand, and that's what I want to see them do. 2 other horses on the list were Set the Mood. This is a horse that isn't going to get around a half grade, so there's no point sending him to Northfield. He isn't going to get in at the Meadows because he's not PA owned or bred, and to wait all this time to race him doesn't make a ton of sense. So I'm literally trying to look at what we have. There's a couple other horses that could go on here, but one horse that definitely is, he's a New York bred horse. We're not sending him to New York. If he was an Ontario bred, which there are a couple of very sketchy looking Ontario breds, are these horses that we're going to keep, but they are Ontario. They are going to open up. They are going to have a chance to race, whereas Set the Mood may not. So Set the Mood also made it onto this list. And the 4th horse is an Ohio bred, and I really, really hope he takes a month to put it all together, and that's Let's Roll On. I forgot to enter him. I can enter him today as the deadline. But I suspect he'll start to come forward and show us a bit more. We raced him a little bit last year. The only thing he was missing was sheer speed. So can he put that together in such a way that changes our minds between now and February 15th? I believe he can. I hope he can. And we'll see if we can. And as I said, nobody on this list or the Meadowlands list I have any issue with. None of these horses are entered from frustration or anger or any of that. They're simply entered because I think it's the proper time to take a look at these ones. Anyway, so you may ask yourself, well, Anthony, there's got to be other horses. I went with a number of horses the last 2 days. Every horse that made a break on drone day last week, I trained on Tuesday, and every one of them trained good. Literally every horse we've trained this week, either a couple of them made breaks because they got interfered with. The last set today, I hit Stonebridge Dolce a swat with the whip and scared 1-2 skip a few, and you got to believe. Now, I'm sorry, there is whips and races in Ohio, so I'm not really worried about them making a break. They got to get used to everything that goes on the track, so I'm not sorry that it happened, but they did make a break, but there was a reason for them doing it. Every single horse that made a break on drone day did their work well today. Every single one of them. We had some castrations this week. We had some splints crowd this week. Everything is progressing perfectly, which I could never say before. You know, aside from Procrastinator and $1 Million Swan being put in the sale, I don't have an issue with any horses in the barn. They all appear like they have paths to the races. I can't tell you there's another horse in the barn that I can't show you a path to the races in 2021 for those horses. I've been extremely happy with everybody, and I hope it continues. Just to go through the list of horses I went with yesterday, Of Tom, I trained her first time. She made a break the other day, and we knew it was the snow. I knew it was the snow. I went with her yesterday. She was a race car, 245 with her. She was great. We are now timing the horses. So if you want to know how any horse went, I'm happy to tell you, and I'm sure I'll give you updates on the time as we go along. I'm not a big proponent of telling you the time. I believe Tamiko Training Center is a little short, so what would be the difference if I told you the time or I didn't? In the 240 should be more than enough. I know some years it frustrates our clients where we don't tell them. They say, well, there's other stables that show it on the... Sure, I can put a timer in the bottom of the screen, train the horse, and put up a fancy time, and then say, oh, that's how fast we went. You don't know. You won't know. So at the end of the day, time means nothing. Zero. Now, it doesn't mean you won't go 210 next week, but there's no difference between us training the babies in 250 on the track the other day and 244, 247, or 248 today. It's not a difference. So I'll give you the times I went yesterday. Trust me when I tell you, time means nothing, and they all did their work well, and that is the most important thing. Mentally, physically, are they progressing? Yes. So, Of Tom, 245 yesterday, she was great. Will to Win Hanover was 243. She was very good. Now, they all have different times for the most part because I didn't train these guys in sets. I wanted to go with them. They went by themselves, which is something we rarely do, but usually James and I will partner up and go with them. These horses were smart enough, and I just wanted to see them do their work. I wanted to see if there was any issues. We had made some equipment changes on a number of these horses. Bomb Hugger is another one. Granite Hill is another one. These are horses we made equipment changes on, and I wanted to see how they were. Of Tom, 245. Will to Win, 243. Bomb Hugger, 241, wrapped up. All we did was put boots on her behind instead of bandages, 2 sets of bell boots up front instead of 1, and put a head pole on the left. Fantastic yesterday. She was very good. Now, a horse we didn't see a lot of, I moved him up to the top barn. Duke Dio. I put the trot and hobbles on him yesterday, won him out on 243. He was very, very, very good. I couldn't have been happier with him. And really, that's the first time I sat behind Duke Dio since the first day he went on the track. So I didn't really know what to expect. I looked at the video from the other day a couple of times, talked to Mario, made some changes on the horse, went out and trained him, and he was perfect. Granite Hill, very moderate changes with him. He was castrated yesterday, so I wanted to get him trained in the morning. I went a mile in 240 right on with him, and he was very strong and very good. And you may ask yourself, well, why did we castrate him then? Because one day is but one of 365 in a year. And as I said, we want to have all these horses paying attention and doing their work perfectly throughout the spring. This is the one difference, my philosophy from philosophies of everybody, and the reason that James and I butt heads quite a bit. I love James, and he loves the horses, and I know he wants to see us do good, but when it comes to the philosophy of every day I want them doing it right, he would rather say, they'll get it, they'll be fine, and I'm not of that ilk. I don't believe in the they'll be fine, right? I'm the hockey coach. When you're on my time, you're on my dime. Do your job right. And if you can't, I'll help you do it. But don't not do it right because you don't want to or you don't care. That won't fly. Not in my barn. Not in my ring. So, Granite Hill was very good. And then I went with Hill of Magic. Didn't really have to. I had time. She was there, and I went with her. She made a break finishing up the other day, but I knew that it wasn't anything serious. She was absolutely fantastic training yesterday. I left yesterday very happy with what I saw. I know James wasn't happy that I went with Bomb Hugger and trained her again, but she didn't train today, but I mean went with her yesterday. Again, you know, the little difference of opinion was she'll get it. My answer to that was yes, she'll get it today. And she did. She was very good. So I was very happy with what I saw. And then today, just some highlights from today, horses that caught my eye that I thought were great. Everybody else trained that didn't get castrated or had splints crowd for obvious reasons. Voyage of Ice and Fire had a curb crowd, so we're going to go easy with him for a couple of weeks. And a lot of these horses, like Amy's filly, Eyes of 10, had some splints crowd. These horses can go fast right now. I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about letting everybody else catch up and polishing everybody at the same time in different ways. So horses that caught my eye today, Arches Rainbow was fantastic. She looked very, very good again. Really impressed with her. Better Be Sawyer continues to look like almost the top of the class of the Pacers right now. And by almost, I'm just being fair. There may be others, but she is impressive. Another reason I didn't just say the top of the class, because there was a filly that beat her today. Miss Mildred looked unbelievable today. She has got the slickest gait. Her and Better Be Sawyer got two of the slickest gaits in the barn. And Miss Mildred, Very Green, was the last horse to come in. She was a little warm even on the front end, and I'd said to Johnny, maybe we'll put a it was a Johnny McKinnon show today. He thumped everybody. If we trained 4 sets, I think Johnny won all 4 of them. But Miss Mildred was very good. Harlan L was second to Purple Aura and coming to her down the lane. Harlan, listen, we snicker about Harlan because he started off kind of rags to riches type horse, but he hasn't hit the riches yet. Started at the rags, and hopefully he's on his way to the riches. But, man, he might be cranky looking. Not looking. He is cranky, and he can be sour sometimes. But when you force him, when you force his hand, when you tell him, hey, it's work time, it's all business. And I love the way he follows tight to a horse in front of him, and as you edge him out, he knows enough to attack. Don't play around. It's game time. And he does that. For a horse with his ears on his neck sometimes, he still knows when it's time to march, and he has never not trotted as hard as he could finishing up a mile. Not for me, anyway. I was very impressed with him today. Luck of the Dragon was very good again. Talk about a horse that's come a long way. Here's a horse, if you look back at his first video, rickety, making breaks, just did not look comfortable on the track. And then even look at him the other day. Smooth as silk. He looks really, really good. Massive Profit. James went with him today. He was very, very strong. Peanut Butter and Jelly continues to look good. As I mentioned earlier, Purple Aura looked good again on the track. Very, very nice filly. I went with Resolute Bay. I was very happy with Resolute Bay today. Different horse. He rolled off once just being a goof, but we'll drill that out of him over the next couple of months. He was very good in his training mile, though. I liked the way he carried himself, and I liked the way he did his work. Rose Above It. James come off the track. James hasn't gone with this horse very much. He said, this could be a nice horse. He said, I know. You know, he's a Cantab out of a sister to Muscle Mass. I don't know why that's shocking to you. Why that would be surprising to you. He's a very nice horse and looks good. And then obviously Tioga Sunshine carried on the way she was the other day. Very good again. Unbeatable Kemp was fantastic. I know Jimmy Gillespie went with him today. Amy goes with him all the time and loves him. Jimmy's gone with him twice. He said, this horse can flat out fly. Yeah, he can. He's a nice horse. Amor Diener looked good today. I had moved Amor Diener down to Mario's barn and moved Duke Dio up. I was going to move Mischievous Rose down there for a little bit and bring up Stonebridge Hecate. He trained good today, Stonebridge Hecate. So Mischievous Rose still had some snot in her nose, and the lady at the farm said, why don't you leave her one more week? Fine. So that whole trade has pushed back now. We'll wait till next week to move those horses around, but I was happy with Stonebridge Hecate today. I thought he looked good, and then Renegade Gypsy looked great again this week, as did, as I said, Arches Rainbow. The reason I brought those horses up last, it's a beautiful segue into its last call for the New Year's group. A couple of shares remain in this group. The horses that are in it were fantastic. I obviously I'm selling the group, so I don't need to put my salesman's hat on. You know what I'm doing. I think these are very good horses in this group, and horses you can't find shares of anywhere else, anywhere on earth. You will not find another share of Arches Rainbow available anywhere. Renegade Gypsy, I highly doubt you will see any shares of Renegade Gypsy come up And again, a Mordiner, 0 shares available of this horse. So if you like any of those 3 horses, the only place you're going to find shares is in the New Year's group. We had shares of Jesse Balboa in there, but I sold Jesse. So you can get in. We had Jesse Balboa priced at $24,240 a share Canadian, but we sold him for $22,000 American. So there's theoretically a refund waiting for you if you do want to join the New Year's group. I thought that was the fairest way to do it. And then obviously we give some shares of White Tiger. He's racing tomorrow, and I suspect he'll be very good. What kind of a trip am I going to work out of the 8-hole? I don't know yet. You're going to have to tune in to find out. But we'll all find out together soon enough. So, that is it for today. I talked about the sales coming up, what we have in, why we have them in. I talked about the horses that trained great yesterday. I tried not to talk about the week we've had on the track, because when Off-Road Hanover is the highlight of your week, probably didn't go that great. So, and nothing against Off-Road Hanover. He won the maiden. He looked great. Good for him. I'm happy. I'm sure all my partners on the horse are very happy too. But if he is the one to talk about of the week, that means that the other ones, West 52nd, White Tiger, Compass Rose DC, made breaks, had rough weeks. Well, 2 of them made breaks. All 3 of them didn't look great last week. So we'll look to bounce back this week. That's racing. I'm sure they'll bounce back just fine. Talked about the horses that trained great today, and there was a number of them. We have 49 in the barn. I'm not disappointed with the 2. They haven't had a chance to show anything up. They'll get their chance. $1 Million Swan and Procrastinator over the next month. The other 47, Mischievous Rose out in the field. The other 46, happy as hell with all of them. And I'm happy with Mischievous Rose. So when I look at all of our years previously, I had a lot of work to do throughout the spring, working on horses, polishing horses, trying to get them fit and ready to go and looking like racehorses. I don't have to do that this year. I just told you the ones I wanted to go with Tuesday. My list, the principals list for Tuesday of Tom, Will to Win, Bomb Hugger, Duke Dio, Granite Hill, Hill of Magic, all of them trained fantastic. That was my list. The good ones were great again. So I don't know if this is the best year we ever had. I have no idea. But it's the most well-behaved, rounded, polished year we've ever had at this time of year. I can guarantee you that. So I'm going to leave for Pennsylvania tonight happy, excited about the 2-year-olds. Yes, I'm going to be a little tired when I get there. I'm going to be a little tired when I'm done. But I'm going to be home on Friday morning. And I suspect when I'm home this time, it will be for a while, as per the request of our premier for certain. But it'll be for a while because I think we have everything under control now. Very, very happy with the way. And look, I couldn't be happier. I stopped here to get the mail. Didn't even get out yet to get the mail. Wasn't sure if the mailman was here. Look who just pulled up. The mailman. Now, mailman kind of sucks because he's slow. I'm just getting mail from 3 weeks ago. I'm getting Christmas cards. If you're asking yourself, hey, Anthony, why didn't you say anything about my Christmas card? If you sent me a Christmas card, I really appreciate it. I'm a bit of a dick, and I didn't say, hey, John, hey, Tom, hey, Tammy, thanks for the Christmas cards. But I do appreciate them. Obviously, it means a lot to me. Some of them I haven't got yet. I just got them yesterday. But mailman's here. We're going to see what he brought for me today. Can keep the bills, leave the checks. That would be great. Anyway, it is a good day. I'm happy with the way the horses are training. Wasn't super happy about the way they raced, but that's racing. We'll get back to the good stuff next week, hopefully. Lots ahead, lots to do, lots to come in 2021. I hope you are all healthy. Hope you're all safe. Hope your family's good. I know that isn't the case with everybody. But as I continue to say, hopefully in the summer of 2021, we can all sit down, whether it be in Ohio, Pennsylvania, a fair town, anywhere in North America, have a beer and talk about what was the year of the stable.ca. Take care, everybody. I hope you're having a great week.